All right. All right. We are back at the podcast studio in Belmont, New Jersey at Grit Won't Quit, and we have a repeat guest on. We have my friend Tom Jara from WonderWashers, Power Washers, Wonderman Handyman, and an all-around good guy. How are you today?
I'm great. Great for a rainy day.
This isn't your first rodeo on the podcast.
It is not.
But one thing is you came on very early in the podcast series. You know, we've done 125 podcasts at this point, but you were probably number 10 or before or earlier. And you came on last year at the end of the season. I think it was in January when you actually came on, but it was like the end of your season of your power washing, and you had said a couple things that I thought it was a good before and after. You know, in your world, you look at a lot of before and afters, right? With your power washing, you look at a dirty house and then you look at a completed house. But I think one thing that really kind of stuck out was as I was watching you this year, you've really grown. You know, we talked about on the podcast that you wanted to grow and you had some, life goals and you had some business goals, and it seems like a lot of those goals have happened.
I think I hit every goal that I said I wanted to hit that last podcast.
All right. So you wanted to buy a house.
Yes.
Did you buy a house?
I bought a house.
How do you love it?
It's a whole different world. I'm a first-time homeowner, and I love it. I mean, I was in a two-bedroom apartment, one bathroom for 6 years, even longer than that. But we've been in apartments, 2 beds, growing our family. We have a family of 5 and a dog, a couple cats from the wife. And, I mean, we obviously needed to get something bigger. And like I was just telling you before we started, just the other day I was rolling up from work and the dog was at the gate all excited to see me. All the kids are home. They've come through the hallway. They're like, Dad. And it's just different. It's like I'm living a dream now. Yeah.
That's great. And that's so great. That was one thing I remember you saying on the podcast last year, and even when we went and grabbed lunch afterwards, that you really wanted to buy a home. So I'm so happy that you made that happen. Thanks. Also, last year when you were here, you were only the Wonderman Handyman. Now you're WonderWashers.
That's right. Yeah, we branched out. We separated Handyman from power washing. Now we have the Handyman business is still going. It's still moving, making money. But the power washing, it's took a It blew up. It went crazy.
Yeah. And I mean that's great. I always said to you, I never thought that power washing and handyman ever went together. So I'm glad that you saw it too, and you went with the WonderWashers. Cool logo.
Thank you.
And that's great. So now, what did you see this year? So explosive growth in the washing.
Yeah. I mean, so basically, I gotta give a shout out to JT Hazlitt and in his brokerage. They dealt with me and my wife's craziness through the process because it's a little different than your normal W-2 employee, which I wasn't aware of. But we made it through, so I got to give a shout out to him for that. But I know I said I wanted to get a couple trucks. I wanted to hire a couple more guys. And we did that. We now have 2 trucks, hot water trailer. I have 2 full-time guys looking to I'm definitely looking to add at least 1 more full-time guy for this upcoming season.
So 2 full-time guys plus yourself?
Yes.
Last year was really a lot of yourself and 1 guy that was kind of part-time, right?
Yeah. I mean, once the busy season hit, we were both full-time. We were doing 12-hour days, and it was crazy, and I'm still ready to do that. Mm-hmm. But this year I would definitely want to focus more on getting them situated, having them out on their own, and me more working not so much in the business but on the business.
Yep, sure.
Growing it more, getting another truck or 2, scaling.
That's great. And now, how's the competition in the area? Is it?
It's the same as before. There's no competition in my eyes. The only competition is myself.
Great.
I learn, I network with other power washers, even other handyman. I learn different ways on how to approach business, how to get business. I just take everything and I just learn from everybody.
Mm-hmm. So this year you want to add another truck?
I'd love to add another truck, maybe 2, honestly.
And is there enough demand in the washing to warrant that?
Absolutely. We've actually picked up, which I think was another goal too, on some commercial work. Mm-hmm. Just the other day, we did a funeral home. We're actually still kind of washing here and there when the temperature, allows us to. but we did a funeral home, so that's a good commercial account to have. I got to give a shout out to Dan the Bugman for that one. You know, he knew he wanted to get that high-end client, a high-end quality work, so he knew exactly who to go to for that.
And how did you know, Dan the Bugman, he's been on the podcast before. Shout out to Dan. You network with him? How do you?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
We're actually good friends. You know, he invited me over for his wedding reception. I took my son Nathan over there. Him and his son and my son, they had a great time. You know,
Junior Bugman,
yeah, Junior WonderWasher and Junior Bugman were hanging out. You know, it's a good time. We even actually went to go celebrate his birthday too. You know, a couple weeks ago. Went to a water park, hung out. It was a good time. Yeah.
It's great to see.
I'm not only making, connections business-wise, but it's good to meet good people,
make
genuine
some friendships
people.
too.
Exactly.
That's great. So, 2025, you're gonna add trucks. You're gonna add, and now you also got involved with the lighting, Christmas lighting too.
We did.
Holiday
It's funny because I was. Like, I like Christmas. I love Christmas, taking the kids to go look at lights and stuff. I never really, I would do a little bit of Christmas light installs, go in to just install the customers' lights. This year it really blew up. It was mostly just repeat clients from washing our handyman, and they're like, Tom, can you come do my lights for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then from there, it just blew up, and we were doing the Govee light installs, Christmas lights. So actually this year we're going to be kind of taken over a little bit of one of our good friend Jimmy with Oceansides. We already got a couple of the higher end customers, the daycare, the owner's house, another big house we actually washed for Jimmy last year too at the end of the season. So we'll be doing some commercial Christmas lighting next year.
That's pretty exciting
for that. Yeah.
Now, the lighting. Your guys can install it. It's easy to do.
Yeah. We, so my guys will go up on the ladder, a lift, whatever's needed. We put the lights up. Probably start in November. Usually everybody wants to get them up, so I'm sure November's schedule will feel like that. And then, sometime in January we come out and we take them down.
Perfect.
Unless it's the Govee lights, those stay up forever, and they're awesome. I'm waiting to put them on my house. Actually, I got a kit sitting in my in my closet.
So when you say they stay on forever, they go on?
They are permanent lighting. They stick on with 3M tape, and we actually go a step further and get custom brackets that you just screw right into the soffit. You don't have to worry about the tape failing and falling. We put a weather box on the power bank and the switch, so we don't have any water intrusion issues. We've actually, our first Govee customer, a week before Christmas, his lights went out. He had a bad switch. I went there. I looked for it, found that it was a switch, and we got the Govee lights replaced for warranty through Govee and got that situated. But it was kind of like a live and learn thing.
Yep.
First year doing Govee lights, they claim they're waterproof, but obviously
with some imperfections.
Yes.
So it's great to see you expanding outside of so again, last year you're on here, you're the Wonderman. You had started to do some washing, but then you kind of separated that out. Now you have a great washing business. Now you're doing the lighting. So kind of what made you just kind of keep adding to the portfolio of things you were offering? Or how did you start to just kind of put this together? As you're talking to entrepreneurs and business owners that are looking to grow their business or start their business, how did you kind of go from 1 to 2 to 3, and what's next?
I've noticed a lot of power washing companies, they'll always do Christmas lights in the off season, gutter cleaning, snow removal. So, these are things I've actually done before. I enjoyed it to an extent. I'm not really the first person that likes to go up on the 32-foot ladder, but now we have, EJ, shout out to EJ. He does all our higher stuff.
He likes it?
I wouldn't say he likes it, but he's very much more comfortable with it than me and Justin. But we have him for that. I just basically noticed things that the guys took more, and they're great with everything. They do painting, they do drywall, they do the power washing, they do everything, and they do it all great. But I've noticed things that they enjoy doing, more than others, just like everybody else would. So I basically just want the environment for me and the guys to be, to be fun, to enjoy, like get home at the end of the day, you're tired, but you enjoyed what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You want the customers to be happy. You want to give the customer a good experience. I started my business that way, no matter what I did, and I instill that in my guys. And when I see them approach a door or a customer, or they speak to a customer, they're doing it the same exact way as I was doing it. So, put it short, I basically just find things that the guys enjoy doing, that I enjoy doing, so it's a lot easier for us to complete the job at a good level of,
Happiness.
Yeah.
And satisfaction for the customer.
That was the word I was looking for, yeah.
So, and the customers seem to like you.
Yeah.
Getting good reviews online.
I would think so.
Excellent. So what's next? So, how do you see yourself expand this year? Like, so you want to put another truck on the road. How are you going to do that?
So, the first thing I really want to work on is getting a little more organized.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself still, it was a very big issue in the very beginning, is being an organized individual. I've made it better to a point where I'm able to run a business, make customers happy, keep the guys happy, because I got to also feed their families as well.
What's that like? You went from a one-man show.
Yeah.
So, like, you went from just making enough money for you to live and save money for a house and do things with your children to now you have 3 mouths to feed.
Yes. It's, I basically went
3
from
families to feed.
Yeah, I went from a family of 5, I have 3 kids. I went from 3 kids to 6 kids, basically, to feed, if you count my guys' kids. My one guy, Justin, he's been with us for about a year now. He's got a one daughter named Raina. She's great. Also hangs out with my son once in a while.
He's the party guy.
Yeah. I invite the guys over to the house once in a while.
Yeah.
Hang out. When the weather gets nice, we'll be having some burgers and stuff. We're a big family. But yeah, it's definitely, I started my whole business because I wanted to buy a house, and I never saw it happening on the income I was getting, especially in the day and age that we're in now.
Yeah.
So, I hit that milestone, but the stress has gotten worse, but not that it's
different kind of stress.
Yeah, it's a lot more stress, but just because, if we have slow days, which we've had slow weeks where, we have like maybe a couple jobs during the week, the guys clock maybe like 20 hours and that's it. And it hurts all of us, you know what I mean? So that weighs heavy on me. I tell the guys sometimes on our slow days, I'm like, I'm really sorry, I don't have nothing else. Like, people don't want to spend money. It's a slow season coming out of Christmas. Completely understandable. So it's a big stress, but we get through it. I'm grateful that I have guys that understand, the when I explain to them, like, this is how this is working and whatnot, and they're still here, ready to go. They're excited for wash season. They know we're going to be out for 12, 14-hour days,
And they're good with that.
And they're ready for it. They're excited for it.
That's great. So it's a different stress
lot
than
more stress
when you had one person.
Yes.
When you were just you, and then now that you got a little team, and now as you add another truck, you're probably going to add another employee or two.
Exactly.
So that's just going to bring the.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna bring it up more, but I'm prepared for it. I've made it through harder things in life, I feel like.
Yep.
With like personal growth and
Yep.
whatnot. So I always look at it, and I tell my guys all the time when they have a doubt with something, whether it's work or their personal life. I'm like, dude, if I can do what I did, and like I didn't make something crazy huge, like I'm working at it. I don't even consider myself, fully successful until. I probably never will, you know what I mean? Because then when will I start?
Well, the goal line keeps changing.
Yes, exactly.
So the goal line changed when you were working for somebody else, and then you went out on your own. Well, the goal line changed, right?
Yes.
And then the goal line changed when you had yourself, and it was just the handyman, and now you have 2 businesses, and you have some guys. So that the goal line changed again for you.
Yep.
So now the goal line's going to change again, and success, I think, is measured in intervals. If you're not changing, you're kind of getting passed by.
That's basically what I do. As soon as I hit the house mark, it's like, okay, what's next?
Yep.
I don't want to get comfortable and sit, because that's when you lose.
And at some point, you're going to want a bigger house,
Exactly.
another house, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. I don't like stairs.
No.
I'm done with stairs. I had to walk up them for my apartment, but I mean, yeah, definitely that's the goal. Get
Yep.
a better property, and just keep growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So as we got into the year, what are some tips that you could give to homeowners, like as they think about the exterior of their homes, and to make sure that they have the best value for picking their power washer and maintaining their property.
So when you want to wash your house, let's first explain, pressure washing versus soft washing, which is what we do.
And last year you weren't doing the hot water, so
No.
kind of explain a little bit of that.
So last year we had one truck that was full time, always working, had a cold water machine. It's great in the summer. The hot water benefits you more, like when you're have like stubborn stuff, maybe in the off seasons or when it's a little colder out, or even doing concrete work. It's a little. They all have their own perk. Do you need hot water to soft wash a house? No, you don't. But it does help a little bit, especially like I said, when it's a little colder out, like in the beginning of the season and then towards the end. It definitely helps. But I want to say, like, what I would tell a customer, the difference between pressure and soft, it's like getting in the shower and scrubbing yourself with just the water. Are you gonna get all the dirt off of you? Probably not. You're probably gonna still have bacteria and germs on you, right?
Yeah.
When we soap things down and we're hitting it with lower pressure, it's cleaning it. It's disinfecting your surface, whether it be algae, all the green stuff, or black algae, whatever it is on your house. It's gonna take all that organic stuff off and clean it. Customers have a minimum of 2 years. Is your house? We washed your house. Is it still clean? Do you see any algae on it yet?
I don't.
I think that was like 2 years ago.
No, that was last year.
Was that last year?
That was last. I was probably last spring.
And you got a lot of woods around you. So
I do.
mean, if you're still clean, that speaks it right there. I went to customers' houses doing handyman work and window cleaning and whatever, because we'll do reoccurring window cleaning now and stuff like that. And they're still clean. And then I'm like, man, I cleaned it too good. But pressure, you could damage your home. That's what you got to look for. Definitely always make sure they're licensed and insured. That's with any contractor,
yeah.
Obviously.
Why can pressure ruin the home?
So if you think about it, like if you have an old home with vinyl siding and the vinyl siding gets weak from being beat by the sun, or it's just old, you can blow a hole through a vinyl fence with pressure. With the little fan tips you put on your Craftsman pressure washer, you can blow a hole through stuff. And then, or if it's got very bad oxidation, which is a chemical reaction that happens like when the sun's beating down on the vinyl.
Yep.
It's very common with like beachfront homes and stuff like that. If you hit that with a hard enough pressure, you're going to create this streak because you're removing the oxidation off of it, but you're not doing the whole house. So now you have these swirls and all this other stuff inside the house, and it looks horrible. When I first started, I've done it. I didn't know anything about soft washing, and like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, if you ruin a home, you want to be licensed and insured, but it's a learning experience for somebody that wants to start out.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, it's you're basically comparing apples and apples, and it's pressure versus soft. Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather chance your home to be damaged, and then you got to have somebody come out and replace siding or a fence panel, or you just get it cleaned, and now you don't have to. If you hit it with pressure, like I said with the shower analogy, you're just knocking all the stuff off the surface. That's going to be back in 6 months.
Sure.
So, would you rather spend, let's just say, like, $500 for your 2-story home and know that it's going to be clean for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 years, depending on where you're at, or are you going to spend that $250 or that $100 with the one guy with the Craftsman every 6 months?
Yeah.
And you potentially maybe even damage something.
Yep, sure. And most likely that guy's not insured.
Yeah, most likely. You have people out there that are doing it that way still, and it's fine. There's many other ways to do it, but definitely that would be my number one thing to look out for. You want to make sure they're whatever service they're doing, whether it's window cleaning, washing the house, washing the roof. The roof you definitely don't want to use pressure on. That'll take off the granules, and then you're going to have a problem if you ever need to make an insurance claim, because you'll be able to see they use pressure.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference on what you choose when you do a service like that.
All right, good. Well, this was a very informative episode. I appreciate you coming in. Let people know where they can find you if they're looking to reach out and get an estimate or want to learn more about your services.
So you guys can find us at WonderWashersNJ.com. That's our website.
WonderWashersNJ.com.
Made by The Wingman.
Boom.
Or if Wonderman Handyman NJ.com for our handyman side, also made by our good friend Tom.
Boom.
We have Instagram, Facebook, Google. Google's the Wonderman Handyman. We might have to make a Google account for WonderWashers. But
start getting reviews.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been getting pretty good reviews on Facebook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have, I think, like 50 plus reviews
great.
between both of them. So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can go back there and see, get an idea of like the quality of
Yep.
work you'll get. But we post videos, we post time lapses, educational stuff here and there all the time.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in today, Tom. It was great to see you, and congratulations on all the success and knocking out those goals in 24.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Thank you.